There's a lot of history associated with the west side of the Athens Square in downtown Athens, Alabama. One of them being the Fresh Presbyterian Church, built at the corner of Jefferson and Washington in 1900. The Christian Church, organized in Limestone County as early as 1832. Cream Delight, a staple right here in Athens, opened in 1951. Construction of a post office in 1933. The fire chief A.E. Bumpus standing on this 1935 Perch fire truck. The number 7 bus line leading down Jefferson Street during the 1930s. And another photograph of an intersection of Jefferson and Market Street. And the Grand Lodge of Alabama in 1921. George Wood moved near the depot to the west side of the square to open a new store. And George Wood was a watchmaker and optometrist who operated his business for over 40 years. The Woods Jewelry Store, and a view of businesses on Jefferson Street in 1973. And the G. White Hardware Store, which was taken in 1937. So there you have it. West side of the square, a chronology of images of the history of Athens, Alabama. And this panel was designed and fabricated by Sunshine Graphics of Johnson City, Tennessee. Let's go. Another day, another video. Welcome everyone to another vlog. This is P9 and I am here in Athens, Alabama. Athens is a city and county seat of Limestone County. As you can see, I'm standing outside of the Limestone County Courthouse with the American flag and Alabama state flag in front of it. But Athens is a city in Limestone County, county seat, with a population of 25,406. So a little over 25,000 residents claim Athens as its home. And Athens, Alabama is a city that was founded in 1818 by John Coffey, Robert Beatty, John D. Carroll, and John Reed. And it is one of the oldest incorporated cities in the state of Alabama, incorporated in 1818, 1 year prior to Alabama being admitted into the Union. So Athens is a very extremely old city with a lot of historic charm. And it was named after Athens, which is the historic city in Greece, ancient city in Greece, I should say. And I'm right here on the town square of downtown Athens. And I was initially going to do a vlog in Athens months ago, but Athens was hit by an F1 tornado back in December. So I delayed the vlog multiple times. F1 tornado is not the worst intensity tornado, but it did cause a lot of damage, specifically in downtown. So I'm pretty sure the damage that was caused required a massive cleanup. But here I am 4 months after the fact, and here I am finally in So as you can see right here, it's the side of the county courthouse. And here's a marker about Limestone County, which is a county older than the state itself, which was created February 6, 1818 by Alabama Territorial Legislature from land ceded by Cherokee Nation in 1806 and by Chickasaw Nation in 1816. Named for a creek and its limestone bed, which runs through the county. Few settlers here until Indian treaties. Athens became county seat in 1818, and Limestone was first Alabama county to be occupied by federal troops during the Civil War. So there you have it. So it was originally inhabited by the Cherokee and Chickasaws, which was most of the South, by the way, originally inhabited by the Cherokee and Chickasaws, especially in Alabama, some in Georgia as well. And I'm gonna get a few shots around the courthouse. This is a statue of the Honorable Judge James E. Horton Jr. Sits right over here on the side of the courthouse. Judge James E. Horton Jr. And he also has a marker right outside the courthouse. So he was born January 4th, 1878, and he married Anna Hobbs in 1922. He served as the judge of Alabama's 8th Judicial Circuit from 1922 until 1934. Even though his ruling meant the end of his public career, Horton spent his remaining years farming and raising award-winning Aberdeen Angus cattle. In 1938, Horton moved the family's home from Athens to Greenbrier, Alabama, and named his farm Macedon after their 3 sons, Mac, Ed, and Don. NBC's 1976 movie, Judge Horton and the Scottsboro Boys, highlighted the judge's role in the case. Horton's judicial philosophy may be summed up in the phrase he learned at his mother's knee: "Let justice be done through the heavens may fall, or though the heavens may fall." Okay, so he played a huge part in the Scottsboro case. I also got to check out that movie, by the way. On June 22nd, 1933, Judge James Horton of Athens set aside the verdict and death sentence of an all-white jury that found Haywood Patterson, an African-American, guilty of raping 2 white women. Patterson was one of 9 black youths falsely accused of committing acts of rape in March 1931. They were known as the Scottsboro Boys. Judge Horton's decision to order a new trial for Patterson was a resounding blow to Jim Crow justice. Although northern newspapers called him Lincolnesque, Horton simply believed he was doing his sacred duty by upholding the dignity and integrity of the court. Horton faced threats on his life, and his name became the lightning rod for supremacists who labeled him a traitor for overturning the verdict. Shout out to Judge Horton to make sure that justice was done and making sure that the integrity of the court was being upheld. Dignity and integrity. So yes, even though it came at a risk, you know what I'm saying? Because the supremacists definitely didn't like that. They wanted the all-white jury to convict and unjustly send those boys to prison. But shout out to Judge James E. Horton Jr. to making sure justice was done the right way. As I continue down the public square. Now, the public square is located on Jefferson Street and Washington Street as well. So a lot of old historical buildings. Nice little storefronts and mom and pop stores in those buildings. And this is just some Civil War history right here for Athens, sacked and plundered. Union troops of the 19th and 24th Illinois and the 37th Indiana regiments, commanded by Colonel John Basil Turchin, went on a rampage through the town. and they looted and plundered stores and homes, stealing clothing, jewelry, and anything of value. So yes, typical of a lot of cities and towns in the South, they were commandeered and taken over and plundered by, you know, a lot of the troops in the Civil War on both sides. And it goes the side of this building right here. And there's a marker, Samuel Robertson, patriot, pioneer settler of Athens. Samuel Robertson was born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1760. By 1778, he had migrated to Burke County, North Carolina, where he enlisted in the U.S. Continental Army. He served in several noteworthy battles of the Southern campaign of the Revolutionary War. In 1783, he and his family were living in the Pendleton district in northern South Carolina. From there, he headed to the edges of the U.S. frontier and settled on Indian land, which is now Athens, Alabama. On this spot in 1808, he and his three oldest sons built several cabins that served as home, trading house, and inn for pioneers and Indians alike. So in 1809, Colonel M.J. Meigs established Fort Hampton to protect Chickasaw Indian lands from settler encroachment. 2 companies of soldiers were garrisoned there until Indian lands were ceded to the U.S. government in 1816. To keep the Chickasaws as allies against the Cherokee tribe, the settlers were removed. 2 or 3 years later, federal soldiers under orders from Colonel Meigs made Mr. Robertson give up his place to William Wilder, and Wilder retained possession until 1817, when the military withdrew and Robertson returned and demanded his preemption right. William Wilder refused to give up the trading post, and in a fight that followed, Wilder was either killed or severely wounded. Samuel fought for his property for 7 years with no success. In 1823, Samuel Robertson moved his family to Horton County, Tennessee, and as of July of 1836, Samuel died of a tick bite he received 3 days earlier. Samuel represents the best of Alabama and Limestone County pioneers, and this marker was done by the Limestone County Historical Society. So it was in this building that right here that housed a lot of the Chickasaw Indians, and it protected them from settler encroachment. You know, of course, a lot of settlers were coming here to cede the land. And now it's occupied by an attorney at law, Woodruff and Woodruff, attorney at law to be exact. A few other boutiques and mom and pop stores. And here's another marker with a slew of images. As you can see, one of them being the Bass Corner Leslie Hotel. In 1889, this hotel had many boarders and a dressmaking shop. situated beside the old McDaniel building. The hotel originally faced Washington Street. And here is the Ross Hotel right here, built in 1858 by Bryce Townsend for his family and later sold to Dr. James Soule. And the Ross family bought the house in 1907 and turned it into a hotel. Okay. And this is a hardware store that used to be here, Martin Hardware, established 1916. Chapman Quarters, view from Washington Street. So this is Washington Street where we're standing at right now. This was Washington Street back in the late 19th to mid 20th century. So like I said, a very old historical city, Athens is. I mean, we're talking early 19th century, this city has been standing. Oh yeah, they even have a furniture store right here, Hendricks Patent Furniture. Okay. Looks like over there across the street is a government building. Not quite sure which building it is. Possibly City Hall. Washington Street Diner. We have a flower shop right here, looks like. Well, it's actually a home decor shop, really, more or less. It's called Riff Raff. It's really a home decor shop, not a florist, but a home decor. Okay. Sits at the corner of Washington and Clinton Street. So that y'all across the street is actually a courthouse, Clinton Street Courthouse. So it's not City Hall, it's actually a courthouse called Clinton Street Courthouse. So I guess they have the county courthouse, which is downtown, and then they have this right here on Clinton Street. So they have two courthouses essentially within a few blocks away from each other. It's a really nice day out this afternoon, by the way. It's a 75-degree weather at the moment. It's probably gonna get warmer, but 75 is warm enough. About to cross over in the railroad track. Check this out. Right by the railroad track is this, was probably, it looks like it used to be a depot, but it now houses the Limestone County Archives. Fish tacos, chips, salsa. Really nice place to come get some lunch. This is La Cocina, Mexican restaurant, downtown Athens on the square. Lucia's Cocina Mexicana, the name of the restaurant. Walking down Marion Street here in Athens. And this is Athens State University. They actually have a classroom right here, Athens State University on the square, associated with the university itself.
Stuff that we can just
No, those are talent there.
Broken Brush Studio. And check out this mural right here. This is the Athens Bicentennial mural, part of the Athens Bicentennial Legacy Project. And this is a really beautifully designed mural of Athens, Alabama, 1818 to 2018. So it celebrated its bicentennial 7 years ago, 2018. Really nice mural, illustrating the history of the town. And this right here signifies that it is named after Athens, Greece, the ancient city. You see the torch right there. You see the Greek column. There goes the cotton. Of course, that is symbolic of the South. It's really cool. Go Eagles. I guess that's the local high school mascot. Walking down Market Street in downtown Athens, Alabama. And right across the street over there, they have a Salty Cod seafood restaurant, possibly. It's called the Salty Cod Public House. What I like about downtown Athens, like a lot of smaller cities, there's plenty of free public parking available. Check this out. This establishment that serves coffee and has a lot of merchandise as well. It's called UG White Mercantile, which opened in 1917. It originally opened up as a hardware store. But this is what the establishment looks like on the outside. And right next door to it is a restaurant called the Southern Table. And right next to it, we have what's called Merchant's Alley. So let's go check out Merchant's Alley. For one, you have a lot of these cast iron, what looks like a bunch of different First State Bank, Athens Main Street. So a bunch of different dedications on these signs right here. But this is virtually an arts alley. This painting right here looks like someone playing the violin. It's with different colors. This was done by Adam Stevenson and assisted by Pamela Correa. So it's a really nice art piece by Adam Stevenson and Pamela Correa. It's really nice. And it's called Playing the Sound of the Wind, made possible through the generosity of the locally placed Athens State University, and also made through the generosity of the Alabama Center for the Arts. So there's another sculpture right here. This was actually handcrafted by Purcell Lumber and Mill Shop. This door right here. And this is also a nice painting right here. Looks like a fish and a flower. Rose petal. So this is called Merchant's Alley once again. It's a really nice mural right here. Done by RC. I think that's what that says right there. Athens Amplified Merchant's Alley, okay. Didn't expect to see that. And check this out. Hell, the weeping of the guitar, impossible to silence it. So I guess the door has changed. This is a different door. Okay, I thought this was the same door I looked at before. I was like, wait a minute. It has a different painting on it. I was like, did it rotate paintings or something? That was interesting. Really nice art right here. It's like a different color piano keys. Really nice. And the children's arts windows made possible through the generosity of Dr. Jack and Sandra Bailey. And children's art windows, this rotating exhibit displays art created by the children from local area schools, thanks to the teachers and students who share their creativity. And this is the Athens Arts League. Really nice, really nice. It was impossible not to notice this. And check this out right here. This propeller from an airplane. Now it sits inside of an abandoned building. So I'm not quite sure what they plan on doing with this, but it's a really interesting piece right here. Sculpture of a propeller of an airplane. Sits right next to this boutique. That nice house right there is actually occupied by a real estate company, an LLC called Dream Key. So a lot of nice real estate, by the way, out here in Athens in terms of commercial property and houses as well. I always found that to be pretty cool. Right across the street right here, this is the First United Methodist Church. Athens First United Methodist Church. So they have a nice little floral arrangement in front of the church, right over here in front of this sign. And they also have the wooden cross that sits over there. But the Methodist presence began in 1813 when circuit riders were sent to establish preaching posts in the Mississippi Territory. In October 1818, the Tennessee Conference appointed Reverend Joshua Boucher Sr. as pastor of the Limestone Church, Athens. Before Alabama became a state in December 1819, the Methodist Church worshiped in various buildings in Athens before constructing its first building in 1836 on the corner of Hobbs and Marion Streets. It relocated to this building in March of 1925. And there it is right there. And the sanctuary is over that way. It sits on really nice grounds over here. There's like a couple of historic homes over there across the street as well. So this is an antebellum home, part of the antebellum trail right here in Athens, Alabama. It's called the Athens Belmina. Well, this is called the Craig Rosenau Harbin Tees. It was built in 1845, which again, antebellum means pre-Civil War. And again, this is part of the antebellum trail that runs through Athens, Belmina, and Mooresville. So you can see that was built in 1845. And this is another historic building right here. Not sure where this one was built or what year it was built. But I would imagine it would be an antebellum home as well. The old brick style has the chimney over there. And it sits at the corner of Bryant and Jefferson Street. Walking down Jefferson Street again. I'm about to make my way to the other side of Market Street. Remax Platinum. Yeah, they have a lot of nice real estate. As I mentioned, a lot of nice real estate out here in Athens. Old city, but lots of modern homes. Village Pizza. Boutique Bliss. Pimentos. And right over here is the north side of the square. Now, there is a Confederate monument, the second Confederate monument, which was erected in June 1912. And it used to sit at the intersection of Market and Marion Street. So it sat closer to the street, but now it sits right over there on the lawn of the courthouse. Well, at least that's where it sits now. Now, originally, it sat in the middle of the street. 1909, the first Confederate monument. And just a series of pictures right here. So on this street, they had a drugstore. Sharp and Killing. So this was Market Street back in the 1940s. And this is the north side in 1939, the north side of the square. E.T. Gray and Sons with new shipment of shoes in the 1920s. It sits over here outside this Mexican restaurant.
She was.
Limestone Drugstore. So you have a historical drugstore right here called Limestone Drugstore. Right here on Market Street. Now this brings us to the end of downtown Athens, but there is more footage, so stay tuned. This is the Alabama Veterans Museum and Archives building. Architected by Goodwin Mills and K. Wood, architects of Huntsville, Alabama. Jim Cooper Construction Company contracted from Birmingham, Alabama. This was completed in 2010. So it's a veterans museum. They have archives of different veterans who served in the military, armed forces here from Alabama. And this is one of those ground missiles. It's called the MIM-72 Chaparral Ground Launched Air-to-Air Missile, which was developed in 1963. So one of the major components of the services. So all you military aficionados, this will be the place to come right here in Athens. They have a U.S. Army tank right here. It looks like a tank with a missile on the top of it. Here's the different stones from multiple conflicts. You have the American Revolution, Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and the War on Terror. So, of course, this is just outside the museum. The displays that they have. And a couple of more military vehicles over here. Feel like I done stepped on a set of MASH. Check out this vehicle right here. And this is, I guess this would be considered, do they call these Hummers? What do they call these? Hummers or Jeeps? Not really sure. But it looks like there goes, it's missing two of the glass. Well, one of the glasses is damaged. One of them is missing completely. Either one or two things have happened. Either it was vandalized or it was, you know, that was damage sustained by the F1 tornado that came through a few months ago. Here's another, I believe this was damage sustained from the tornado, the F1, the heavy winds and whatnot. Because look at this helicopter right here, severely damaged. It's military chopper. Here's another one of these armored tanks right here. Doesn't look like it sustained any damage, really. But this is right here on the grounds of the Alabama Veterans Museum. So for all you military aficionados, come check it out. I'm over here near Athens State University, not far from the campus. And across the street from Athens State, which is over across the street over there, is this old vintage gas station. I mean, this is way back in the day. This is a Gulf gasoline, old school station setup right here. So I'm about to go over here to this park. They have a park called Big Spring Park. Check out this little stream right here. So they have a playground over here at the park. They have that little bridge right there over the stream. They have a pavilion over here and a tennis court as well. Check out this beautiful waterfall, these springs over here. There's that waterfall, really dope. Like I said, it leads down to this stream right over here. And as a final stop here in Athens, Alabama, I'm on the campus of Athens State University, which is a state college in North Alabama. And it is actually Alabama's oldest educational institution of higher learning, established in 1822. It was an all-females academy at that time. And it changed to Athens Female Institute and became Athens Female College in 1889. It didn't become co-ed until 1931, when it became simply Athens College. And then it finally was renamed to Athens State University in the 1970s. So this is the campus today. And one of the representatives in Congress, Dale Strong, attended Athens State University. She's in the 5th Congressional District. This is the Sandridge Hall Student Union, built in 1967. And in front of it is the mascot, a sculpture of the mascot of a bear, which is the mascot of Athens State University. As you can see, Really nice sculpture of the bear. But yeah, this is Sandridge Hall, which functions as a student union, as a bookstore, financial aid office, and admissions, among other things in this building. And that building right there is Waters Hall. Here's a really nice fountain right here. This is called the Alumni Fountain. Dedicated in memory of Dr. Janita Smith. And Alumni Fountain was dedicated in 2005. Made possible through gifts from the Athens State University alumni and friends. And here's a list of all the alumni and friends who donated towards the project to build this really nice fountain right here on the campus of Athens State. Very neat. And at last, right across the street, is the library. It's called the CARES Library. Looks like a relatively modern, building. Yeah. And this building right here was built in 1925. This is Sanders Hall. So it is now a century old as of 2025. As you can see right here, Sanders Hall, 1925. And here's a marker right outside of the building. So I think it underwent a renovation in 2008. Jerry Bartlett, president, and here are the board members all over here. Architected by P.H.&J Architects, Henry Construction Group, Inc. And, so the general contractor was Henry Construction. and PH&J Architects were the architects. So really nice. You know, they played a part in the renovation in 2008. But the building itself was erected in 1925, and it still stands today right here on the historic campus of Athens State University, Alabama's first higher educational institute. And with that, I will conclude my Athens vlog. Thanks you everybody for taking part and watching this video. If you made it this far, make sure you hit the like button. And also, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell. That way you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. And with that in mind, good people, thanks for watching. Have a great day.